sounds at the moment. All these elephants brushing through the bush, and also sucking up the look at that little one rolling around. Oh, this is so wonderful. Tina, you asked how old the baby elephant would be when they start digging for water. Well, it depends. I would say, you know, oh, that one just got pushed by an adult. This one over here. That was interesting. That adult elephant just pushed that one, the younger one, out the way. Gave off a bit of a screech. So Tina, it takes the young elephant the baby elephant about 2 years to really get used to using their trunk and using their trunk properly. So it takes about 2 to 3 years. Also, the tusks would have started growing out a little bit by then, but they use their feet mostly for the digging when they are digging for water. So I would say maybe from 3-4 years old, you might start seeing them digging purposefully for water. Again, it depends on the availability of water. Is the rest of the herd doing it? Are the adults doing it? Then maybe the youngsters would do it. It's hard to say. I can't give you an exact time frame really, but my guess would be somewhere around 3-4 years they'd probably start trying to do it, purely because they've watched the adults do it and they might try and copy them. This is such a beautiful sighting. There's wonderful afternoon light on them now. Very, very peaceful. Drinking water. The youngsters aren't at all worried about us being around. The adults are completely relaxed. Now look, that one's trying to suckle from the adult. Did you see that? It just shows you these young elephant. I've said it before, they do take a lot of chances on suckling from the adults. And you can see now the young elephant up to 5 or 6 years old still try and suckle from adults if they can. But interesting behavior. That one tried but is now moving off again. Now John, you asked if those two that we saw aren't twins, is it possible that they have the same father? Yes, John, very possibly, because what would happen is you'd probably get a big dominant bull that would come into a herd and look for females that are in estrus, and then once he does find them, he'll mate with probably 2 or 3 of the females if he can. So it's a good possibility that those two little youngsters have got the same father and probably just different mothers. I'm just having a look around because it does look like a few of these females. Just trying to see where those youngsters have gone. One youngster moved back towards that group that you're looking at now, and the other one came off to the right and is standing close to a female. We can't really see them, they're behind some trees now. Just off to the right here in your picture you can see this female and the youngsters just behind it. So that's why again I don't think they are twins, but very possibly the same father, just different mothers, and they gave birth around about the same time. They do look very close in age, but the one does look a little bit bigger than the other. Alright, I'm going to maybe sit here a little bit longer. I'll see what these elephants get up to. Bretnt is still in the Mara. Let's go and see how his search has been going for antelope and other animals.
Hello, welcome back to the marvelous Mara. Oh, I see a lion, I think, and an elephant, all in one. Sorry, the synchro mesh is a bit out on this vehicle. I think that's a lion sleeping there. Is it? No, it's a stump. But there are the Ellies. Now there is a lion around here somewhere in the long grass. So I'm just trying to have a quick look Apparently there is a line very close to where these elephants are, but they're off the road somewhere. We might not be able to see them. Oh, and one quickly for our birders, Senzo, for their Kenya lists. A Cape turtle dove up in that tree there. There we go. So I know a lot of you are trying to build your Kenya list. Now there are quite a few more species. Oh, Senzo, am I going to sell you down the rabbit hole? Where's it going? Where's it going? Oh no, it's gone. Sorry. It was a white-headed saw-winged swallow. I will keep an eye out for them coming back. Ooh, but look, I see some other stuff happening behind us. Something just disappeared into the grass next to us here. Now, some of you might have seen it, some of you might have not. I can hear it. I can hear it. Where are you hiding? It's about here. And it's being a trickster. It was a yellow-throated longclaw, but keep a lookout. They might pop out again. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you've got any questions for us. We would love to hear from you. Wait 1 second, I'm just going to go have a chat with one of the Ngama guides. Oh, just 1 second. How are you today? How's your game been? Any news for me?
I know what you're looking for.
I think they're behind us. Apparently there's a Chitwa Djuma somewhere back along this tree line.
Oh.
Yeah.
They haven't found it. They haven't found
that.
it.
Okay.
That guy, I was just talking to that guy. But they said that he was somewhere there.
Oh.
Grasslands.
I've heard two different stories. We're going out opposite directions. Must be. But it's a traffic jam now, so I'm just waiting. So I'm just chatting to Alice. Alice is one of the magnificent and wonderful Ngama guides who've made sure I haven't got lost and fallen in a hole somewhere in the Masai Mara. So just having a quick catch up. Remember, I will get to your questions in a second. John, I think it was. But here we go. Oh, it looks like our traffic jam is opening. So after you, Alice. Oh, well, we're live. You've got to be smooth while live. Okay, so we've just, this is why there's such a traffic jam in this particular spot, is there's a lugger, and what a lugger is what we call a dongo or drainage line. The big difference between luggers and dongos that we get in the Sabi Sands in South Africa is, of course, that most of these are filled with water here, and with this volcanic ash that makes the soil so wonderful here, makes them very, very sticky and muddy. So there's very few safe spots to cross them, and this is actually a little bridge across them. So yeah, so it sounds like, there we go, you can see here, well, it's not exactly a raging torrent, but you would definitely get stuck if you tried to drive through this little lugger here. Okay. Now Alice seems to think the lion is lying up ahead on the grassland here. Oh, hello, Ellies. There we go. We're just going to sneak past the elephants. John is wondering, how loud is an elephant's trumpet in comparison to a lion's roar? Oof. I'd say it's quite different, because an elephant trumpet, well, actually an elephant, they do roar as well, sort of a when they're upset or angry. I would say that elephant probably more piercing, whereas a lion is deeper and can probably be heard from a lot longer a distance. So I wouldn't know exactly the decibels, I'm afraid. Now, let's see where this lion is. Somewhere here in the grass. This area here is actually called the Chainlands. Now that sounds like a very strange area, or strange name for an area, but apparently before this was deemed a no off-roading zone. Many people attempted, and what happened is they had to come and get pulled out by a tractor with a train. With a chain, not a train. I lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry, we're just trying to see now. Now, would you believe that a massive male lion can sometimes be incredibly difficult to see? I think he's quite far, to be honest. Ah, there. I got him, I think, Sens. You see what I'm looking at? I could be not a lion, but let's have a check. Okay, so let's go zoom. Okay, slow down. Okay, zoom a bit more. There's a stick. And let's go to the left slightly. What's that there? Just zoom in there. That is very much a stick. But did you see in front of the stick, Senzo? A little bit down. Look at that. That's a male lion. You've got to have sharp eyes out here in the Mara. You have to spot it from a mile away. Now, can you believe that is an adult male lion lying flat in not very long grass? Ooh, but birders, what is that behind him? Because that is a very flat cat. So, if you go up a little bit, are we on full zoom?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I just want to have a look in my binoculars. It is quite far away, but I'm pretty sure it is just it's a fiscal shrike in the distance. And there you can see one of the entrance gates to the park in the background. There we go. It is a fiscal or common fiscal and a very, very flat cat. Oh, there we go. He moved his leg. So we know where the cat is. We were looking at the bird, but because the cat is so flat, so I don't think this lion's going to move anymore. I think I'm going to head towards Mitiamaziwa, which means the milk tree, which is a euphorbia, and that is the area where the Angama pride keep their cubs. Before we get caught in another traffic jam around a flat cat. We're going to keep moving, see if we can find any more, hopefully not so flat cats. While we do that, let's go to Bretnt and some interesting Ellies.
Oh, good luck there in the Mara, Bretnt. And we've had such a wonderful, wonderful elephant sighting. It's been very difficult to leave them because there's so much interaction constantly going on. Some pushing one another around. Let's see what happens with these two. Look at that. They're drinking some of the water out of this dry riverbed that they found. Look at that little one on the right hand side. You can see how small it is. So cute. Rolling around and playing. Oh, it is amazing. Isn't that just too precious? Don't tell anybody I said that. Meant to be a rugged game ranger. I'm not allowed to say something's precious. Don't tell James, actually. Everyone else is fine. Just don't tell James. James, I think, is on holiday at the moment. Again. You can see how that one splashed water all over itself. So Edith, these elephants can probably smell the water. Their sense of smell is incredible, and they can often smell water, and especially groundwater, so they know where to dig and to find it. Also, just a few scrapes of the foot, and they get quite deep, and then they'll And I'll quickly see or soon find if there is water around. It's mostly through sense of smell, Edith. Oh, look at this one on the bank, just off to the right. Let's just see. Splash water all over his head. Look at that. And they're breaking branches, and there's so much going on now. Look at that one coming down the little bank there now. Stevie, you said, oh, this is so cute. This is indeed. These little ones, they are very cute. But look at that, water all over the forehead.
Same hairstyle as Michael Jackson.
Fergus says the same hairstyle as Michael Jackson. Fergus. Oh, look at this little one. It's trying to dig for some reason. It doesn't get much better than this. This has really been such a wonderful sighting. Rishi, the age that elephants start developing tusks can vary quite a bit, but I've seen young elephants about, I'd say probably on average 3 to 4 years. Some a little bit younger, but 3 to 4 years you'll start seeing those tusks protruding out of the mouth already. So from that age you'll definitely start seeing those little tusks. But like I said, it can vary sometimes. Sometimes elephants develop late, and sometimes maybe a little bit earlier. You'll see these little tusks coming through. Yeah, they're all moving off slowly. There's still 1 or 2 stragglers here. You can see the nails quite clearly on the feet of the elephant there too. Shalva, you asked if the elephant have ear holes like other animals. They do indeed. I'm trying to see if we can maybe zoom in on this one. You can. There's the ear hole. Can you see that? There we go. You can see the ear hole in the front of the ear. There it is. They do indeed have ear holes. All the better to hear you with. Jamie, the elephants do indeed feed on soil from time to time when they're looking for salts or certain minerals from the sand or the soil or the clay. In this particular situation, they're not. They purely have dug here for the water. I've been watching them to see if they have been, but from what I've seen, it's purely for the water that they've been drinking. However, there's probably a lot of minerals in this water because it has been drained through the sand and the clay. So there's probably some minerals that have been washed through into the water. But this particular sighting, they've purely been trying to drink the water that they've dug for. I haven't seen them actually feeding on the soil, on the sand or clay. But they will do that from time to time especially in certain areas where there's not a lot of food or vegetation around and they need nutrients. But the bush is still looking really wonderful here. Still a lot of greenery around, even some of the grass is still quite green. So that's obviously due to the late rains that we had. So the wonderful time of year this. And because of those late rains, still a lot of food around for all these animals, especially the big elephant. Oh, I can feel the temperature starting to drop now. Alright, well, I think we're going to leave these elephant now. What a wonderful sighting. Tristan is still out, and let's go and see if he's got anything to show you this time.
Well, we did, but it's all gone away now. You can see behind there is an impala, and so this is about the story of our afternoon. Is most of the things we've been finding have just disappeared into thickets. It was also combined with the fact that Wendy is still misbehaving quite badly, means that we not only can't move around too much when we do find things, and so we end up with situations where everything keeps disappearing and there's not really much we can do about it. But there is some hope on the horizon. We are right on the northwestern part of the reserve, right up near the gate, and we're hoping that the pack of wild dogs is going to come our way. There are dogs apparently on Simamelia that are not too far away from Triple M and are slowly kind of heading in a southwesterly or southeasterly direction, which means that they'll be coming closer towards us. So that'll hopefully be good news, and that's why we're up here, is just to try and see. And I suppose if there's wild dogs around, stopping with impalas is never the worst idea, because obviously we know at this time of the day is when the dogs start to hunt, and I'm hoping that they're going to come exploding across this area and we're going to get this crazy sort of afternoon of following wild dogs around, and hopefully Wendy will behave herself if we do. Now let's get rid of the spider web that is on the lens, sorry about that, and I'm going to try and see if we can't just move back and get another sort of view of our impala males, because they're a beautiful group of them. They're all big boys, and I'm quite surprised to see these kind of size males together. Come on, Wendy, don't be like this. There we go. So Wendy is also not really wanting to go into gear today either. She's just having a wonderful day off, really. And it's hopefully she's better this afternoon than she was this morning. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come, is that she's going to start getting better. Now, where have my impalas gone? So my impala should be here.
Well, we've just seen a common fiscal. Now we have their cousin, the greyback fiscal, shrike. Now, like the common fiscal, they are well known for impaling insects on thorns, and my grandpa used to call them Jackie Hangmen, or the whole fiscal family. Now, of course, they don't do this out of malice or spite. They do it to keep a larder of food. Now, I have heard a bird we haven't seen before. We have seen the greyback fiscal, and now they've gone quiet. So I'm just going to move around, but I'm sure all of you are very excited to find another parrot species. Now, as the wind's not too strong, we've got a bit more of a chance. We're down near Samaki Swamp, and in these little tree islands, not only do we have a really good chance at some lovely birds, but this is where the black rhino like to hang out as well. So there's a cow and calf that I've seen quite regularly in this area, but we're going to try for these Mayer's parrots off the bat. Sounded like they were in one of these trees. There they are. You can hear them screeching. Now we just got to spot them. So they've got blue and yellow on them. Do I need to go forward, Sense?
Yes, please.
Sure. I can't spot them yet. I think they're on the other side of the tree. Let's just go around. You see them? Okay, I'm just trying to get a visual of them. They're being very noisy. Squawk, squawk, squawk. I think I see them. Okay. You can hear the squawking. Let's get my binos out. See if I can look in that little sort of gully on the left there, Sens. On the left. Up a bit. Up a bit. Yeah, there. In there. I saw some movement. Where are my binoculars? Oh, they're in both trees. I'm just trying to get one that's out in the open. Isn't this frustrating? We can hear them squawking away. Show yourself, parrot. Let's have a look in the other tree. Maybe they're more visible there. They're right in the thickets there. You can hear them all around. There, Sense. Okay, come out to that one, top of that tree. There we go. One mare's parrot delivered at the top of an Abyssinica, a Diospirus abyssinica. So a relative of our jackalberry. Now, I don't know if we can see, there's a little yellow dot on his nose and sort of greeny blue on the underside. As there we go. I'm very happy we managed to see them, even though they squawk, 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 squawk. Very vocal birds. Okay, let's keep moving through this area. I really like this area. Oh wait, let's see, they might fly a bit closer. So he's going to land it on top of this tree closer to us. Okay, let's just go back a skosh. And you might be able to get a nice, oh goodness, pucker. There we go, that's it. In the beautiful afternoon light. Now you need to turn, oops, sorry, he says that was my fault. And you can see that greeny blue. Now, we want him to turn his head towards us. Come on, show us your face, pretty parrot. There we go. You see that very distinct yellow above his beak. Very noisy birds, constantly squawking around in the forests. The mayor's parrot. Bree's wondering, does he have a lot of green on him? He is quite green, but also it's actually quite blue. But he's got that very distinct yellow on his forehead. Now, he's brown mostly on top. There we go. Come on, turn towards us, please, Mr. Parrot. Now, of course, the reason they like these Abyssinicas, they're Diospirus, so they're ebonies, and they do have lovely fruit, and that's what attracts them to these trees. Oh, he's off. He's off, he's off, he's off, and so are we, if Pucker will let us. Oh, I see some more birds up ahead. Now, the nice thing about birding slowly through an area like this is we do have a very good chance at those rhinoceri. We still haven't managed to find a sooty chat. It's amazing. As soon as we're off air, they're everywhere. I'll always check carefully through here for the rhino. I've seen them here a lot of times. I've also seen male lions in here as well. Okay, well, we're going to keep searching for whatever we might be able to find, and as it gets later and the sun starts dipping, we're going to start heading towards the escarpment, but it sounds like the sun is already dipping with Byron.
It is indeed, and look at this beautiful sunset. One of my favorite times of the day is watching the sun go down. We managed to eventually get through that whole herd of elephant. There were a lot of elephant through there from all ages. It was wonderful to see them and spend time with them. And now we've come up onto a bit of a crest. Just as we came up. I mean, this golden light that we've got now is just really, really beautiful. The silhouette of the trees. Is that... No. I thought I saw a bird in the nest, an eagle in the nest. Before I left, there was some crowned... No, I beg your pardon. See what happens when I go and leave. Not crowned eagles. They were the African hawk eagles that I saw in this area, and they were what looked like building a nest. They were getting vegetation or foliage and sticks and that, and trying to build a nest in this area. And I tried to have a look to see if they were still around, but I haven't seen them again. I tried to check before I left, and then now I don't see them anywhere. So I'm not sure if they did end up using this area or not. Pair of African hawk eagles. It's so nice to be back in this area again. James, you asked if I had any interesting sightings while I was away. Well, yes, I did indeed. We got to see, James, we had some lovely cheetah sightings actually up in that area. That semi-arid to desert terrain is ideal for cheetah, so we did have wonderful cheetah sightings. We got to see some Kalahari black-maned lions. Now, the black-maned lions get their name from having mainly very dark manes, and the males in that area tend to get it. Very dark maned lions, and we got to see a few of them in different areas. What else? A beautiful male leopard the one morning, and to see one out in that type of terrain where it's very open and vast is quite different for us. So that was a nice surprise for me. And then wonderful birds, like, as I mentioned before, birds and birds of prey. We had a heron, a black-headed heron, which we don't really get in this area. I haven't seen in this area. We might think some of its territory does expand into here, but I've never seen it out in this area. And this heron was moving through the sandy areas and looking for food, and it actually caught a snake, which was interesting to see. A little adder that you get out there, a horned adder. So we had lots of different sightings and interesting. We also saw an aardwolf, which I was very excited about. I wonder if some of you have even heard of an aardwolf, because we don't really get them in this area. I've never seen one up in the Kruger, but I do think they do occur here. I just think they're also extremely rare. But I've never seen one out here. I'll try to find a picture for you quickly and show you what an aardwolf looks like. Which directly translated means earth wolf. That is what an aardwolf means. There we go. Now it falls under its own family of Protelidae. Now again, we start getting quite confusing, but with families and that, but they are closely related to hyena. And I'll show you a picture of one shortly, but look at that sunset again. Very, very beautiful. And let me just show you a quick picture of the aardwolf. And then so this is what we saw, the aardwolf, or earth wolf, because they do burrow and they do live underground, but they predominantly eat insects and termites. No, I'm just trying to read, because they mainly feed on termites, which is quite interesting because they look like large predators, but it's mainly insects and mostly termites. So some people did think for a long time that they would hunt sheep and that, but they don't necessarily do that. Some farmers would claim that they kill the sheep, but they don't. So they have been hunted out in parts of South Africa. You don't see them very often. They're mainly nocturnal, but in certain times of the year when it is cold, you might get these animals moving around during the day. So that was a really interesting sighting that we saw. Now, I'm just looking at that sunset again. It's really, really beautiful, so I don't want you to miss any of it, because that sun is going to drop quite quickly. So, Richard, a lot of interesting sightings, different sightings. It's always nice to go into different areas and guide. We had, one day we also watched giraffe, a journey of giraffe that had spotted cheetah. It was a group of 4 young cheetahs, sub-adults. They were independent, but they're sticking together, 2 males and 2 females, which was quite interesting. But these 4 cheetah were moving through an area, and these giraffe decided that they didn't like these cheetah, and they followed them. They wanted to keep an eye on them. They followed them for, it must have been a good half an hour. They would stand and watch them and stare at them, and then wait, and eventually when the cheetah would move, the giraffe would go a bit closer and investigate and stand and watch. So it was very interesting behavior. The giraffe didn't want to take their eyes off the cheetah. The cheetah being a smaller predator, and animals do react differently to different predators, but yeah, they were very curious about those cheetah. So peaceful here. I can just hear one Cape turtle dove calling in the distance. And the rest of the birds seem fairly quiet at the moment. Very peaceful. I've been told by some of the viewers that I need to get the tips of the day ready, so I've been thinking about it, and I'm not going to start today because I think it's unfair. I wasn't on drive this morning, so tip of the day will start again tomorrow officially. From the sunrise safari and the sunset safari. Look at that, quickly dropping behind the horizon, and I can just make out the Drakensberg mountain range in the distance. The air becomes quite hazy this time of year, because of all the dust. Because of all the dust in the sky at the moment. So it does get quite hazy, and it's not as clear as it usually is after the first rains, when all that dust is washing away. I'm just going to wait. That sun's almost beyond the horizon. Let's just give it another few seconds to drop. Look at that. It's amazing how quickly it does drop when you do have it against the horizon or behind the horizon. And it is gone. Well, with the sun setting, let's head over to Bretnt, who's still driving around in the Mara.
Welcome back to the Mara. Now we're still in search for that ever-elusive sooty chap. And of course anything else. This area, I'm still hoping for a live leopard sighting. We've seen a few of them while we haven't been on air, but in quite difficult areas or from some distance. So there is a female leopard who's got a... Oh, what have we got there? I think it's another fiscal, but let's just make doubly sure. It is the common fiscal, and this time a bit closer. So we've seen both grey-backed and common fiscals today. And this one's a little bit closer. The last one was sitting behind that very flat lion. Now, one of the reasons we're moving along the edge of this little river system called the Shieni, and that runs actually from in front of our camp. Oh, well done, Aaron. Aaron's Mara bird list is up to 34. That's spectacular. Oh, hopefully we can make 38 before the end of drive. 40, I think I'm pushing a little bit, but 38 is doable. Now, and again, I'm still searching the edge of these forests. The black rhino tend to move up and down between these little patches of trees. So at this time of the day, they're quite often outside the forest. So always a good spot to look. The African wild dog. And how big are the packs here? Cynthia, I would say that there are not that many wild dogs in this area, and the biggest pack seen from in the last couple of years in this area is only 3. On the other side of the river, they are more common, but distemper and rabies have played a big role in bringing down the wild dog numbers in this area. But hopefully, there will be a miraculous recovery. Oh, there's a tipple. What's tipple skirchy? But what is on that? Is that? There's a lovely giraffe marching across the grasslands. Now, of course, the tipple skirchy is the scientific name for the Maasai giraffe. Very beautiful. So we've seen yellow-billed, we're still looking for red-billed. Ooh, I hear some branches breaking up ahead. Let's go have a look. It could be an elephant. It could also be a black rhino. Oh dear, are we going to get stolen? Nah. Maybe. Nah. Hold on. Oh, goodness. This is a very funny old car, this one. It should never even think about getting stolen. We met. Okay. That was quite close. So a machine gun would like to know what bird. Oh, we've got lots. Just have a quick look at that. Whatever was branches. The biggest bird of prey outside of the vulture family is the martial eagle, and there's quite a lot of pairs of martial eagle around here. And then, of course, we've got the resident brown eagle is the tawny, and during different times of the year we'll have a lot of the lesser spotted Wahlbergs, all the ones that migrate, but one of my favorite things that I can't wait to show you is an auger buzzard. It is gorgeous, and they're resident, but particularly higher up on the escarpment. We see them when we're driving up and down quite often. Oh, we've got common kestrel, lesser kestrel, Montague's harrier, pygmy falcon. There's a lot more birds of prey here than you find in the Greater Kruger. There's a lot more birds. So the bird species count for the Mara is over 500, whereas Krugers are on 350. So there's a lot more here. Okay, let's keep going. I am going to find that sooty chat, even if we have to break the branches. It is an elephant. I can just see it. Scotch. Okay. Zoom where you are, Sens. Here we go, a little bit to the left and center now, a little bit to the right. There we go. Right, now you got him. Back. Zoom. Drop. Now there we go. There's an elephant hiding behind the bush there. Hello. I'm hoping you were a black rhino, but it's lovely to see you anyway, even though you are hiding in a croton thicket. Sounds like there's actually quite a few of them in there. Okay, let's keep moving. Oh my goodness, pucker. Well, I'm going to argue with the car a little bit while I do that. Let's go back to Bretnt, who was having a more pleasant time driving when he or did.
I am indeed, Brent. It's so good to be back, and it's been such a wonderful afternoon. A lot going on. Wonderful elephant sightings, or sightings rather. There's been a lot of elephant. I'm now approaching Buffelshoek Dam, so I'm going to have a look around and see if we can't find anything there. I'm curious to see how much water's left in the dam. I haven't seen it for quite some time. I'm sure you all have. So we'll have a quick look. But also scanning. The temperature's really cooled down quite a bit now. Some jackets are on already. It's not too cold, but it definitely is much cooler. So maybe some of the predators would possibly start moving around a lot earlier in the evening than they usually would, because of the temperature being much cooler. So who knows, we might bump into something, not just predators but any nocturnal animals, maybe civets or genets or a hippopotamus just over here. Now there were 3 here before. Now I wonder how many there are at the moment. Fergus, do you know when last we were here?
It's 2 years last week.
Okay, so Fergus said there were.
3 house down today. So.
Okay. Well, they do move around a bit, so you can see there are a lot of little terrapins. I can just see little heads sticking out every now and then. Oh, hang on everybody. I can hear Impala alarm calling. Not too far. Let's go there quickly. Alright, it's not too far from us. Let's quickly go have a look. It sounds like serious alarm calls. Sorry to take you away from the hippo, but that's exciting. Let's go and see what they're alarm calling at. Now, the sound of the alarm call, the snorting sound, came from this direction, so it's not too far. Maybe, and I've just been speaking about potential predators moving around this time of the day. Maybe they've seen something, and I'm hoping that those alarm calls push the predator out. If it is in the bush, in the thickets, then maybe it comes out because it doesn't like to be alarm called at. What happens is it draws too much attention to those predators. Now I'm going to stop shortly and listen again. Didn't sound too far. Okay, I'm just going to switch off here. Let's just listen for a second. Okay. Right. I don't know where we're going to have to go. I'll try to drive quite quickly. It sounds like on the other side of this block. I'm hoping it's on the other side of this block, because this block is fairly big. Alright, while I move through here, let's quickly head to Tristan, see what he's got, and then I'll give you an update shortly.
Well, we're at the hyena den, and unfortunately it's all very, very quiet at this stage. There's no sign of any of the hyenas, so we're just sitting tight for a while just to have a little listen out, and you never know, maybe something does arrive, and it's that time of the day where we start to see the hyenas kind of getting up and enough to Treehouse Dam that if Tingana starts to get up and starts to call, vocalize, that I'll be able to hear him from here. So that's why we're just spending a bit of time here. It's very, very peaceful though. There's kind of that time of the day now where everything is just starting to shut down a little bit, and it is one of the best times to be out in the bush. It's quiet, and the sounds are all very, very, very peaceful. And the fact is also the light is beautiful. We've got this sort of blue that's turning into a darker coloration, and you've got the yellows and oranges that are coming in as well. So it's starting to get very, very sort of pleasant out here. The only thing is there is a bit of a wind that's starting to blow, and that wind is feels quite chilly at this stage, so it's going to be quite cold. I think tonight it's going to be a lot cooler than it was last night. Was very, very pleasant indeed. I actually didn't even put a jersey on for the whole of the drive, which is definitely not going to happen tonight. We're going to have to put a jersey on at some point, but it's going to be a beautiful evening. At least we've got the wind has sort of died down a little bit, and it seems like we're going to have a very clear start to the day. Now, it would be really nice if the hyenas did come along, because it would be pleasant to just to sit and just to enjoy their company for a while. It's been so long since I've seen them, and I was just trying to look if there's any sort of signs of them. But if we have a look here on my right-hand side, you can actually see, just over there, Craig, that there is tracks from them from last night. So somewhere, maybe come a little bit more to the left is the more clear one. Down a bit, so it's still there somewhere. So there it is there. Now you can see there's quite a clear track for the hyenas from last night. So I saw that this morning when I came to look, and you can see the edges haven't been blown about too much, and we know that yesterday morning it was not too windy, but there was a breeze blowing, and the day before was very windy. So those are tracks from last night that have been here. So it's definitely a female that is coming here. So I would say that the cubs are still in the den, but at this stage no sign of them this morning or this afternoon actually being physically here. What often happens with hyenas is that they'll go into surrounding areas. There's lots of bushy areas here with shade, and they go and rest up there for the day. As soon as it starts to get dark, like now, is a time that they'll then come suckle the young ones, and you'll find that they're going to come in and they'll then lie down here during the sort of cover of darkness, suckle them, and then off they go on their nightly patrol looking for food. Now, like I was saying to you, I was hoping that this hasn't been too disturbed by anybody else in terms of the lions. We know lions walked through here a few weeks ago, and so hopefully that hasn't prompted them to move a lot of these cubs, and it's just one or two that are still hanging around in this area. So we'll have to keep checking and keep persevering. It's one of those things that we have to keep doing, but like I say, it's just so pleasant just to sit here. And what I might do from here is, if we have no luck with any of the hyenas in the next little bit, is probably go towards just back to Treehouse Dam and just sit at the dam wall there. It's such a beautiful part, and maybe our hippo will come out and we'll be able to use our infrared on that, and hopefully Tingana will make an appearance at the dam itself and maybe come down for an afternoon drink. So that's going to be the plan from here. Other than that, the wild dogs unfortunately went deeper into Simambili, so there was no real sort of sign of them coming out, and unfortunately we're heading quite far west, and so I'm sure they're going to head back towards the areas that they normally hang around. It is the Sands Pack, and the Sands Pack doesn't really spend that much time in this area, more in the western side of the reserve. So hopefully, well, maybe tomorrow morning we'll get lucky, but I don't think so. I think now that they've started moving west, it's probably a sign we won't see them. Right, I think we'll sit here for a little bit longer and see what we can hear or see, and while we do that, let's go across to Byron and see if he's had any luck himself.
Not yet, Tristan. I'm still looking. Now those impala seem to have stopped alarm calling. I think unfortunately they were right in the center of this block, but like I said, I'm just doing a loop around. Hopefully whatever predator was in this area might come out towards us. I'm looping around back to where we heard those original calls. The bush is still very thick at the moment, so it is difficult. I'm hoping just to even if we get a sign of the impala that have been alarm calling, it would just put us in the right area at least for whatever predator was there. Maybe we're lucky and we bump into something walking along the road. That's what I'm hoping for. just going to switch off here for a second again. Let's just listen. See if we don't hear any other alarm calls. Ellie, you say you hope I find spots in the grass. So do I, Ellie. We'll try our best. Let's see. I don't hear any more alarm calls. Little air pockets that we drive through while we are driving around that just maintain a bit of the warmth from the day. It's very interesting, especially in higher lying areas. You get these warm air pockets, then it's cold again. It's so strange. We just drove through a very warm patch, and then the air's got quite cold again. Monique, you asked what is the rarest animal in Djuma. At the moment it's a James Hendry. That is the rarest animal in Djuma at the moment. Monique, the rarest animal in Djuma, this area, that occurs in this area, obviously we can't give you something that doesn't occur in the area, but I would say probably an aardvark. Now the aardvark is a quite a large animal. It looks very strange, long snout, feeds on termites. Oh, hang on, I'm just going through a dip here quickly. So the aardvark, I would say, is probably the rarest, because you've seen pangolin. There have been pangolins seen on Djuma before, so that's another rare one. But definitely the aardvark, because I don't think it's ever been seen here. So close yet so far. I'm going to listen again just for a brief moment, just hear if we've got any more alarm calls. It's gone completely quiet now. I'm not just trying to listen out for antelope alarm calls like the impala that we heard. Potentially birds. Birds will alarm call at a predator moving through this area. Now, I was hoping that maybe whatever predator was in this big thick block off to my right, it might head down towards Buffelshoek Dam to come and have a drink. So I'm going to hang around here a little bit. Just double check up and down this road. Let's see, come on. Alright, now Tristan seems to be driving Miss Daisy, apparently. Oh dear, it sounds like Tristan has lost some comms there for a second. It's okay. Stick with us. Maybe we bump into something shortly. I haven't seen anything yet. Haven't heard anything. But I'm quite excited because there's definitely something in this area. But look how thick the bush is. I mean, it's very difficult to spot anything through here. Luckily we have got the spotlights out already. Again, just going to stop for a moment and listen. It's really not a bad idea to stop and listen like this, because you could pick up on anything, maybe even a bush rustling. Or an alarm call, or any sound that might give away the position of a potential predator. Still nothing. Let's drive a little bit forward again. I'm going to turn around then and come back down this way, because this is where we stopped earlier, and those alarm calls were coming from my right, just through here, but quite a way in through this thick area, probably about 100 or 200 meters in through there. Oh. Now, was it Lauren from Illinois? You asked, hang on, yeah, we've got some waterbuck just off to the right. I'm not going to shine the spotlights on them. You can just see them through there. Have we got built-in infrared now? Wow, look at that. A lot's changed since I left, or since I've been away. Built-in infrared. Wow, folks, this is amazing. Now, Lauren, you said there was an update on Tamba and Shongile found together. That's very interesting. Was it definitely confirmed? before I make a comment. Okay, so apparently it's definitely confirmed those were the two leopards found together. And that's very interesting. And you wanted to know my opinion. Well, I don't know. I think that to be honest, I do think, and I've seen in the past, leopards are a lot more social than we actually think. And I say that because I've seen leopards interacting in the past from or young leopards especially, that are from different litters, aren't related, but do meet up sometimes and interact a bit. It might be strange interaction. I'm not sure what the interaction was that you saw. If they were just in the same area, were they communicating, were they doing vocalization? Leopards do something known as chuffing. It's like a blowing, snorting sound that they do when they do greet one another in a friendly manner. It's a something like that. I can't do it very well, but I have heard that before from leopards. Now, so I don't know exactly what type of interaction there was between these leopards, but I think because they are both young leopards, it's not unusual to see young leopards communicating like or interacting like that and bumping into each other, maybe spending a day or two together. So it's very interesting, but I don't think it's that unusual. I just don't think we see it all the time. Leopards constantly move around, especially young leopards like that might be displaced or nomadic. They're moving around a lot, looking for territory, and they probably bump into adult leopards too. not just the youngsters. I'll just turn around there quickly. I'm heading back towards the dam, just see if anything pops up around there. But yeah, Lauren, that's very interesting, and I'm glad to hear Shungile is doing well, that young female leopard, because I hadn't seen her last time I was here for quite some time, so I'm really glad to hear that she is still around and that she's doing well. I'm still searching very, very carefully because there's got to be something in here, and I'm hoping our persistence pays off and something pops out. Oh, it's like a little nightjar in the road. There it goes, little nightjar. Lovely birds. I love the nightjars. Very well camouflaged. They sit on the roads at night trying to catch insects, and they've got wonderful, wonderful calls. The fiery neck nightjar is probably the one that we hear the most. That's exactly the sound a fiery neck nightjar makes. Well, I think so. It's pretty. What do you think, Fergus? Pretty close? Fergus thought it was in the car. Thanks, Fergus. Alright. Now, let's quickly find a leopard, Fergus, and then we can go home for dinner. Pardon? Do you want to... Over here? Sure. Lovely, lovely light at the moment over the dam. I'm just scanning around. I can just hear the hippo snorting at the moment, but look at that beautiful light, the reflection in the water, Buffelshoek Dam. Still no sign of any predator around. Just listening out again carefully, just maybe we hear something. It's a beautiful evening though. Can't believe that glow in the sky, isn't it wonderful? So pretty. Just a few splashes again from the hippo. You might have heard it there. Those silhouettes. Still a wonderful glow. Doesn't look like anything is around here. What is bobbing and weaving there? That little bird through there. I don't want to shine the light on it too long, just through there. See it moving there? There's a little heron moving through there. I'm not going to shine the light on it for too long. No. Again, just one last scan and then I'm going to move on Doesn't look like anything here at the moment, but let's see. I'm going to drive around a little bit longer and see what we can find. Sounds like Tristan has fixed some of the gremlins that were with him, or chased them away rather. So let's head back to Tristan.
Well, I don't know if fighting off the gremlins is the right thing to say, because clearly we've been fighting off not only signal issues but comms issues too. So it's been a bit of a tough afternoon at the office. Well, tough day all in all. But we've been sitting here with our hippo friend at Treehouse Dam and hoping that Tingana was going to show up at some point, or at least vocalize that we could be able to follow up on his calls and see where he is. But at this stage, it's all very, very quiet. But our hippo looks very cool in the infrared. It's got these beady little eyes that sort of face you. And it was facing us just now, and you could see it quite clearly. But now all we've got is an ear, and the reflection is super cool. Because of the sort of time of the day that we're at, there's no wind whatsoever. So when he sits dead still, we get this amazing reflection of his eyes and his ears in the water itself. And I wonder if he's not starting to make his way towards the edge to get out. He's right on the fringe of the dam itself, and I wonder if it's just not time to start getting out and moving and going off and start feeding again. Let's just see how he goes. But he's definitely creeping closer, and you can see most of his back is now exposed. He's far less shy than what he was during the day. It seems that this guy at night knows things get darker, it's a lot more comfortable. And you see this a lot with both leopard and lions. If you find lions or leopards that are a bit shy during the day, they're often more comfortable at night. For some reason, even with a light on them, they tend to be a lot more comfortable. In this case, obviously, it's dark. We don't have any lights on him whatsoever. It's the infrared light, so that hippo is not picking up any light itself. And I'm pretty sure if I had to shine a spotlight there, it would go underneath the water. And so the sort of cover of darkness is making it a little bit more bold than what it was earlier in the afternoon. I can hear, it sounds like an elephant somewhere in the distance up on the top here. I can't see anything, but it sounds like there could be something up in that direction. I'm just going to shine my light quickly. But somewhere up in there. Maybe it's a bull elephant or a herd of elephants that are going to come down for a late afternoon drink. They often do that. And you'll find this is the perfect sort of time for them to come down before it gets too dark. There's still some ambient light that they're around, and therefore is possible that they can kind of see what's going on and still drink and not be too worried about crocodiles and varying other things. So sometimes you will find animals drinking at this time, but it is also a great time to find a leopard drinking at a pan. This is now the time that leopards do wake up. And I'm very, very surprised that we haven't heard Tingana yet. I would have thought he would have been up and moving long before now, and I would have thought that we would have actually heard him call. Although he is, according to Taylor, was very hungry this morning, and he looked like he was in need of a meal. So maybe he's strategically keeping quiet in his efforts to start hunting and to try and find a kill, or it's potentially he has killed during the day, and that's why we've got no tracks of him anywhere, and that he's quiet at this time. Although, knowing Tingana, he is the last minute leopard, which means that in the next probably 10 minutes we will hear him calling, and within the last 3 minutes of the show his face will pop out somewhere around. He's got a knack for that at the moment. I don't know why he always does it, but it's quite funny to see how many times we get him in that last sort of 10-15 minutes of a show. It really is quite entertaining. The problem with him is also he's difficult to keep up with, so if we find him in the morning, we don't get to follow him for too long. So, Firecracker, you say the infrared makes you feel like you're watching a classic movie. Well, I couldn't agree more. It's almost got a bit of sort of grain to it in some places, and it just kind of feels a little bit olden day, except for the shining light of the eye. That's sort of a bit creepy, and you can see that the eye kind of glows when it looks at us. So, but it is definitely like an older movie. It's amazing though that we're able to do this, and I'm such a huge fan of the infrared these days. I never thought it would be really something that I would worry about, but the fact that we can sit now in almost complete darkness and watch this hippo and not be in any way intruding on its lifestyle or its habits. It just opens up a whole new world, and it allows us to sit with animals that potentially we never used to sit with. So particularly things like elephants, we never used to sit with elephants after dark. Now we can sit with the infrared lights on, and it's amazing to witness the behavior that we see of certain animals in the dark, and it opens up a whole new world as to what actually goes on in the sort of darkness of the night. So it's a very, very cool thing to have, and a good thing to sort of have with us and be able to show you guys what actually goes on. Now, I don't think we're going to sit here for too much longer, because our hippo itself is kind of just drifting on the edge of the dam and no sign of Tingana yet, so I'm probably going to try and see if we can't just move around a little bit, and maybe we get lucky with Tingana being out on the road. You never know, he might have just bypassed Treehouse and gone on the sort of western side of the dam itself and gone sort of northwards up towards Djuma. We know that often if he comes from the south, his next sort of movement is towards the dam cam. So if we don't find him during the drive, dam cam is your place to look. You never know, he might pop out there. And so while we kind of look around for Tingana, let's go. Midday Tingana, the ever powerful Byron.
Tristan, you've been spending too much time in the bush. We haven't had any luck everyone. I've been looking very, very carefully, but no sign. A lot of nightjars flying around. I caught a glimpse of a bush baby, very brief, and jumped away and disappeared. So, I can hear and listen. Is a pearl-spotted owl that is calling. Two of them. I wonder if I'll be able to. Shall I try see if I call, if they'll come out this way maybe? Let's see. Keep a lookout to see if we get a glimpse of one. They sounded like they were just on the other side of the drainage line between us and the other trees, so I think they are sitting over there at the moment. Wonderful whistling sound of the pearl-spotted owl. I don't think we'll be able to find them from here, unfortunately. Sure, and those little birds are so small, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where that call's coming from. But they were a little bit of a distance away from us. That's okay. And I just asked Fergus when last he saw an owl, because we might see some more. Now this is interesting. Tristan has found something that I wasn't sure we'd see many of at the moment. Let's go and see what he's got.
Well, indeed, I'm quite surprised to see one. It's probably this warmer weather that we've got, but there you can see peering through the guarri leaves is a little flap-neck chameleon, and it's got its beady eye on us, watching us as we're coming past, and it's all hunched up and sort of in a small little rounded ball, as I'm sure it's trying to stay warm. And it's not in the best place. It's right on the edge of the sort of Treehouse Dam, which means that it's going to get quite cold here tonight, and I can't tell you how difficult it is to actually see that. The infrared makes it look a lot easier than it actually is. What we'll do just now at the sort of end of this is I'll go back out and we'll turn the infrared out and turn the infrared off and put the torch on it, and you'll be able to actually see, or the spotlight should I say, and you'll be able to see how well that little creature blends in. And it always amazes me how this infrared is able to pull out the sort of detail on the chameleons, and it makes it really a lot easier to actually see. But you can see now, if you come out a little bit, it's really not that easy. And I can tell you, when you've got a light on it, all those tones and colors are perfectly matched, and it took us a while to actually get it onto the camera itself. But what you can see there is, look at how the eyes are moving. So each eye moves independently of of the other one, and you'll find that one is watching us, the other one will go and look around, and it's just sitting in wait for any insects that will be coming off the dam. In terms of a place to hunt, this is a great place to be, because there'll be little mayflies and all kinds of little hatching insects that are going to come off the surface of the water and are going to drift very close to where this chameleon is, and from there that chameleon will then be able to shoot out that long adhesive tongue and grab whatever it needs to be able to feed on. So, Pink Floyd, you say this is the cutest little thing. Well, I couldn't agree more. They are very cute little guys, and particularly when they're cold like this and they're all hunched up. And you always feel bad for them. If you had to touch that chameleon now, it would be very cold to the touch. Being a cold-blooded animal, they really suffer when we start to get into this sort of colder temperatures. But there you can see, imagine trying to spot that now while you're driving. It's not that easy. Luckily for us, they do reflect a little light. Now, I'm going to turn on the light so that I can show you what it looks like in color, and you can see how well this infrared works. So if you go out a bit, Craig, but there we go. Now try and spot that. It is almost impossible in that leaf. So you can see how well a chameleon actually blends in, and why so many of its prey items are sort of caught unsuspecting of what imminent danger they're in when they sort of come around close to these trees itself. It's pretty incredible, but there he is, just in there. Right, now I don't want to blind our chameleon or make it in any way sort of hurt its eyes, so I'm going to turn off our light and we're going to carry on and see if we can't find Mr. Last Minute Leopard himself and see if he's not somewhere around here. This is where I was hoping he would be, just in front of us, because this is a perfect sort of place. And the last tracks that we had of him, we're walking straight into this area and down towards the sort of water edge, but we lost the track somewhere in that area. So I was hoping he was going to come out, but alas, no sign of him. So we're going to start meandering a little bit further north and check that he didn't just come out on the northern side. And while we do that, I believe Byron is also looking for nocturnal creatures.
I am indeed. Tristan, well done with that chameleon. That's really great. I wasn't sure if we'd be seeing many of them now. Because it is winter, they're not as active, so it shows there are still a few around. I think it's still these warm conditions during the day, perhaps. Trying to see if we can find anything else. Paula, you say you'd love to see some bush babies. That would be wonderful. That, as I said, I caught a glimpse of one earlier, but a very quick little glimpse, and then they disappeared. But we'll see, maybe we can find something else, and maybe Tristan has some luck with that male leopard they saw this morning, Tingana, while Tristan meanders through the bush, as he said. The Djuma meanderer, is that a word? No, made up. I'm scanning the trees for owls and that too, just to see if we can get a glimpse of a little owl or a large owl. Michaela, you asked what is my favorite nocturnal animal. Favorite nocturnal animal, That's a tough one. Now I need to think. Favorite nocturnal animal. I like seeing those little genets and civets. Those are always nice to see. What else do we? No, Michaela, I don't know. You've stumped me. I'm thinking of owls, and I love seeing owls, and then I think of bush babies. I love seeing the bush babies. I can actually hear some owls at the moment. Oh, there's a buffalo just moving off away from the waterhole. Not going to shine light on him for too long, but there we go. There he goes. Shine on there a little bit. There he goes. We'll just come down for a quick drink. Big old buffalo bull. A few owls calling around, pearl spotted owls again. Oh, there goes the buffalo. I'm not going to disturb him with the light. Let him move off. Michaela, I'm still trying to think now. Nocturnal animal. Fergus, do you have a favourite nocturnal animal?
Tell you, stop me too.
Fergus also is.
I do. I have a honey badger.
Honey badger. I mean, yeah, Fergus says honey badger. No, my favourite animal is a honey badger. So I mean, yeah, but you know you hardly ever see them. So, but yeah, honey badger. Favourite nocturnal animal is a honey badger for both of us on this vehicle. Now let's head to the Djuma meanderer and see what he's got.
Well, Byron, when you've got Wendy, you will see that you too will become the meanderer of Djuma, as there is very little else that you can do at the moment with her. She just doesn't want to provide signal, and I'm quite surprised that we're actually moving while she's allowing us to broadcast. So Wendy is hopefully on the mend for some reason. Now, I had my lights off because there was a little impala in the road, so we didn't want to blind that impala, and that's why we've just let that one go. And still no sign of Tingana. I've checked everywhere around there, can't find a single track of him coming out. So maybe he's just decided to have a late lie-in this evening, and he'll get going a little bit later. I'm pretty sure as soon as I park the car, I'm going to hear that rasping call of his coming up this way. It wouldn't surprise me in the least, knowing him. He often does these kind of things, kind of torments you for hours on end, and then shows up after. There's sort of nothing you can do about it. Oh, hello, little nightjar. So there's a nightjar that's going to land on the road. I wonder if we can't get that on camera. And I'm a bit worried about this dip, so I'm going to get out of the way. Might have to go into infrared for that, because I don't really have... No, it's decided to fly off. It's probably using our headlights also to catch a few insects, so that's why it's sort of hawking from where we are. But now that it's flown off, we're going to carry on. And hopefully, like I say, when we go through this dip, Wendy will be able to maintain its it's not going to remain, so we're going to go across to Byron, who is Mr. Biceps himself, and see if we can't make our way home.
Interesting. I've just turned my lights off, everyone. We've approached the clearings around camp, or close to camp. There are a lot of impala and wildebeest I can see, but I'm not going to shine the lights on them just yet. At the moment, because their eyes are sensitive. But it's been a wonderful afternoon. Loads of elephant. Unfortunately, we didn't have any luck with cats in the area, but there was a predator around. We'll try again tomorrow. We'll see what we can find on our sunrise safari. I'm assuming it might be myself and Taylor out tomorrow morning, I think. I'm not sure. We shall see, we shall see. Maybe we still spot something or hear something interesting. I'm just trying to look around and listen. See if we can't find anything just before the show ends. It's always nice if you do get to hear something calling in the distance, maybe a hyena. One thing I did hear a lot of in the Kalahari was jackal. A lot of jackal calling in the evenings. A very loud screech, kind of like a squeal, a howling scream that they do. Very strange, eerie sound, but a lovely nocturnal sound to hear. We didn't have any luck with a leopard calling tonight. Maybe later, you never know, maybe lions. So I'm hoping we get something that moves through the area during the course of the evening and we can find tomorrow morning. Thank you very much to the Mara. We had a few short segments from them, and I hope everything's going well up there. Thank you to the voices in my head, the ladies in final control, and of course to Tristan and then Fergus with me this evening.
Nice pleasure, man.
It was nice, wonderful drive, and a big thank you to all of you, all the viewers, all the questions and comments. We love hearing from you, so we will definitely hear from you soon again, hopefully. And but we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, for our sunrise safari. Now, how much time do we have left? Have you heard anything? I seem to have lost comms there.